Hello friends, today we'll be discussing a very important group of invertebrate animals, that is Echinoidea. Echinoidea belongs to the phylum Echinodermata. But before I begin to speak something else and something serious about this phylum, let me consider the existence of an organism in an atmospheric situation. When you consider yourself in the ambience of air, that ambience of air exerts a kind of a pressure on your skin. This is called as atmospheric pressure. Nearly the same amount of pressure, rather exactly the same amount of pressure is exerted from your flowing blood so that you can stand still. The pressure outside your body is counterbalanced by the pressure inside your body. But imagine that you are droning inside ocean, droning inside a thick column of oceanic water, then that thick column of ocean will exert the pressure enough for your blood vessels to be collapsed permanently. Can you imagine that the animals that thrive in the deep oceans, how do they manage that kind of a huge pressure of the thick water column? That means if an organism, if an sea animal or marine form exists at the sea floor, you will find that it experiences a lot of the hydrostatic pressure on its body. Very naturally, there has to be a system that manages this pressure. Fortunately, the nature has given a very special power to the echinoderms, that they have the water vascular system. This water vascular system, it enables these animals to exist in that deep ocean, and they sustain the huge pressure of the water column. Now, let us begin the topic. Echinoderms, as you split this term, you will find echinos and dermos. The echinos means spine and derm means skin. That means those animals that have spines on their skins. And in this phylum, there is a very important class called as Echinoidea. So, we will be discussing today about the Echinoidea. If you split also Echinoidea, so echinos means spines, and Echinoidea, the other part, it refers to the test. That means the soft part of this animal, it is enclosed in the system of calcareous plates. This system of calcareous plates is called as test, calcareous test. This test is usually having two different kinds of symmetry. One is the pentamerous symmetry, that is the radial symmetry. The other is the bilateral symmetry. Now, you may be thinking, why we have two different kinds of symmetries in this class Echinoidea. The reason is that when the mouth of this animal is in straight line with the anus, then this is called as regular form, and these regular form, they have radial symmetry. That means the mouth and anus, they are diametrically opposite to each other, and they form the regular form, regular echinoids, and these regular echinoids, they bear a pentamerous or the radial symmetry. But when the anus shifts and it is no more in diametrical opposition to the mouth, then the symmetry distorts, the symmetry changes from radial to the bilateral. The echinoids with the radial symmetry, they are called as regular echinoids, and the echinoids with bilateral symmetry, they are called as irregular echinoids. So, now you have understood what is the basis for the two different kinds of symmetries that exist. The mouth of this animal is on the inferior or the lower side, and the anus is on the upper side. The mouth is surrounded by a membrane of calcareous plates, it is called as peristome, and opposite to the peristome you have the anus, which is also surrounded by the membrane of calcareous plates, which is called as periproct. The mouth side is called as oral side, and that is the lower or the inferior side. The side where the anus exists or the periproct exists, that is called as the aboral side. Aboral side is convex and convex up, whereas the oral side is flat. And the size of the test, it ranges from 3 to 10 centimeters. The circumference of the test is called as imbitus, which may be a small, medium, or sometimes even larger. Now, this covers the general introduction about the Echinoidea. Now, let us talk about the general morphology. As far as I told you that these organisms, they are identified and characterized by the water vascular system and a system of calcareous plates that encloses the soft part, and it is divided into 3 distinct types. Starting from the top, that is the aboral part. The aboral part consists of the anus surrounded by the periproct, and this apical system where the periproct is surrounded further by the system of 10 calcareous plates, about which we will be discussing very shortly. And then this apical system is followed by the corona. Corona is also made up of the system of calcareous plates, rather 10 double rows of plates, and that is further followed by, on the inferior side or on the lower side, by the mouth system or the system of peristome, that is called as peristome. So, you have apical system, corona, and peristome. Peristome is the part where you have mouth. The portion where the mouth exists of that animal is surrounded by the system of porous calcareous plates, and that is called as peristome. That is also containing the system of plates. So, we will be discussing about each of them individually. The first in the series comes the apical system. As far as the apical system is concerned, as I told you, apical system is the system that exists on the aboral convex upside, and in this apical system you have the anus in the center, which is surrounded by a system of the membrane containing calcareous plates, and that is called as periproct. So, this periproct is further surrounded by 10 calcareous plates, of which 5 are bigger and 5 are smaller. The 5 bigger plates, they are called as genital plates. Genital plates, they are the plates through which the genital duct comes out. So, these plates are perforated. Alternating with each of the bigger genital plate is the ocular plate. So, there are 5 big genital plates and 5 small ocular plates. All these plates have perforations. But this arrangement is of 2 different kinds in apical system. What are these 2 different kinds? The first kind, in which the apical system is having the peristome surrounded only by the genital plates, and ocular plates, they do not touch the periproct. This situation is called as exert. In this situation, the periproct is surrounded only by the genital plates, and ocular plates, they alternate between the individual genital plates, but they do not touch the periproct. In the second situation, in which we have the periproct surrounded by the ocular plates as well as the genital plates, and this situation is called as insert. So, you have the apical system defined by the exert and insert conditions, and the differentiation between the exert and insert is by the ability of the ocular plates to touch the periproct, or sometimes they do not touch the periproct. Of the 5 bigger genital plates, one genital plate is little larger than the other 4, and since it is larger, it can be very easily identified. This larger genital plate is called as madreporite, and it contains a little more pores compared to the other genital plates, and these pores are actually higher in number and they are bigger in size also. So, this is called as apical system, and apical system now gives rise to the corona. That means, from the apical system emerges corona, and corona is the I mean, it covers the almost the bigger part of that calcareous test of the echinoids. Now, let us talk about the corona. The corona contains 10 rows of double columned plates. That means, each row contains one double column of plates. So, there are 10 rows. 5 rows are smaller and 5 rows are bigger, and these smaller and bigger rows of plates, they alternate with each other, and it gives the size of the pentamerous symmetry. So, if you look this particular situation into the fossil or in the recent organism, you will find the appearance of a pentagon, regular pentagon. Let us discuss about the individual plate system. The 5 smaller plates, they are called as ambulacral plates, and ambulacral plates, they are smaller and numerous. That means, the size is smaller, but they are having a higher number, and they form thin rows because they are smaller, and they are alternated by the plates which are bigger, the rows of plates which are bigger, and bigger plates, they are less in number. These smaller rows of plates, which are called as ambulacral plates, they are also perforated. Each perforation is kind of a pair of pores, and through which the tube feed comes out. Tube feed is a part of the water vascular system, and this water vascular system, it propels the water so high that the internal pressure, it counterbalances the huge hydrostatic pressure that is existing outside that test of the echinoid. These plates are arranged in rows, and the pores in the plates are also arranged in rows. Sometimes they are biserial, sometimes they are triserial. So, biserial series is called as bigeminal, the triserial series of the pores, they are called as trigeminal. So, I mean, the series and the number of pores in each series, it is also a character which is used for the identification of the morphology of the different echinoids. Actually, whatever I am telling you throughout this lecture, you will find everything into the books, and rather the books have even more information than what I will tell you in this about the echinoids. But my part is that I am not here to only explain you the morphology of echinoids. My idea is that you must get the intuition half of this particular invertebrate paleontological aspect. You may be interested in that if the echinoids are to be studied, what is the significance of studying echinoids, what they can contribute, and what kind of biological significance they have in the ecosystem that we do not have. So, the books, they tell you about the only morphology, but here I will be discussing about why these morphologies are I mean, useful in their ecosystem, in their lifestyle. Anyway, as far as let us return back to the corona, that is the ambulacral system. In the ambulacral system, as I told you, there are a series of pores, and each particular double column plate is called as an area. So, this area is having 2 series of plates, and these plates, they start from the margin and they meet in the center, and at the point of their meeting, that is called as zigzag line, and these zigzag line, it is made up of, it is the point where the two plates join. Sometimes there is a third plate that exists in between. Usually there are two plates, and alternating with these ambulacral series, we have interambulacral areas, and interambulacral areas are defined by the plates which are bigger. The bigger, they also have pores, but these pores, they do not have 2 feet, rather they are the pores through which the spines come out. As I told you in the beginning, this is a discussion about the echinoidea or echinoderms, in which the echinos means the spine. So, these organisms, they have a lot of spines over the surface, and these spines, they come through the pores of the corona, and in corona itself through the interambulacral bigger plates, which are bigger in size, but they are less numerous compared to their ambulacral counterparts. So, this is about the corona. Now, we will be discussing about the peristome. As far as the peristome is concerned, the peristome is the region where the mouth exists, and this is on the inferior or the aboral side. Actually, the mouth, it also consists of a kind of a jaw-like apparatus, and that jaw-like apparatus is called as the Aristotle's lantern. The ambulacral areas, as I told you, they are having the pores which are bigeminal to trigeminal. These have the morphological significance. They are sometimes used to identify a particular form of the echinoderms. Then these ambulacral areas, they are also having sometimes in some forms the plates, they are not planar. These plates, they converge on the margin. So, they converge in the center and they converge in the margin. So, they look like a petal of a flower. And since there are 5 ambulacral plates, so every plate is having these rather than being flat, the little becomes converging towards both the ends, towards the margin as well as towards the center. So, the ambulacra becomes petaloid, and when the calcareous plates fuse, it is sometimes difficult to identify or to differentiate the ambulacral plates from the interambulacral plates. But because that plates are punctured by a very uniformly distributed series of pores, and as the ambulacra converges, the pores also converge and they give a beautiful petaloid form to that echinoid. And the shape of the tests, they are sometimes globular, sometimes they are flattened, sometimes they are heart shaped, sometimes they are plano convex also. So, these are the different forms, but the most beautiful part is that when the ambulacra is curved, so it gives you the beautiful 5 angle pentamerous symmetry and petaloid like ambulacra. Then comes the next part, that is the peristome. Peristome is the region of mouth where the mouth sits. As I told you in the beginning of this lecture, that the mouth is surrounded by the membrane of calcareous plates, which is called as peristome, and the mouth also contains the very special feature of the echinoidea, that is called as the Aristotle's lantern or jaw. So, this jaw, it serves to bite the food. So, it acts as a sort of system in which you have teeth and jaws as well. So, this is the 3-partite division of the body of the test of echinoidea, with the apical system existing on the aboral side, and aboral side apical system, it consists of the anus, which is surrounded by the periproct. In regular echinoids, the periproct encloses the anus and they have the radial symmetry. But in the irregular echinoids, which is characterized by the bilateral symmetry, the periproct no more encloses the anus. So, anus is little bit shifted and it becomes little eccentric from the periproct. Otherwise, the apical system is beautifully identified by the presence of the genital and the ocular plate. The genital plates, as I told you, is bigger. They are hexagonal in outline or shape, and they touch directly the periproct, and then alternating with them is the ocular plate. Ocular plates are smaller, they have pentagonal or sometimes trigonal shape, and they usually they do not touch the periproct. So, the situation is called as exert. When they touch, the situation is called as insert. One of the genital plates is bigger and that is called as the madreporoid. And then corona is characterized by the 10 rows of the calcareous plates, and each row is having the double series of the plates. 5 of these rows are ambulacral plates, which are having smaller plates, but numerous in number, and alternating with them is the interambulacral plate, which is bigger but smaller in size, and through them the spines come out. Through the ambulacral plates you have the 2 feet coming out, and sometimes these ambulacral plates they have converging pattern through at the center and at the margin, through which they become spataloid. Then the place where the mouth sits is peristome. Peristome is on the aboral side, and on the inferior side the peristome is something that encircles the mouth, and it is characterized by sometimes the jaw-like apparatus called as Aristotle's lantern. This is about the echinoid. The part that you must appreciate, that echinoid fossils are very rare. Whenever you get these fossils, try to identify each feature, try to identify the kind of symmetry that it has. There is no need to assign a taxonomic name or a generic name or a specific name to that particular form that you see. What is more required is to identify the morphological features correctly, and that is enough. Then you can see the varied morphology. Ultimately, you will be successful and you will be able to assign a taxonomic or biological affinity to that particular form. As far as their geological history is concerned, we have a separate lecture about the geological history of the echinoids, but to be summing up of all these discussions together, they appear in the Paleozoic, and they start from Ordovician, then they go to Devonian. Carboniferous, their number little bit declines. In the Permian, they revive again. So, they have the forms. Most of the Paleozoic forms, they are regular, having the radial symmetry. In Mesozoic, mostly is dominated by the irregular forms, having the bilateral symmetry, and their number diversified also in Cenozoic, and in Cenozoic also we have the more number of the irregular forms over the regular echinoids. And actually these are the animals which are exclusively marine. No form of the echinoid is found in fresh water. So, they are very good indicators of the marine system of rocks. In whichever rocks you get the echinoids or echinoderm fossil, you can take this for a tested that these rocks were exclusively marine. So, there is no connection of these rocks with the freshwater regimes like lakes or rivers or any freshwater pond. I hope you understood and you could follow the general morphology of echinoids. Whatever form that we see in the echinoids, remember always that they are characterized by a very special feature that no other group of animals have, is that water vascular system that enables them to survive the huge hydrostatic pressure existing at the ocean floor. Till then, thank you very much for listening to me. We will be discussing more of the paleontological groups in the lectures to come. Till then, thank you very much.